All right. Hello, YouTube, and hello, TikTok. It is May the 4th, so May the 4th be with you. It is, of course, Monday. It is my day off, of course, but more important, ooh, excuse me. Trying to adjust here and get comfortable. More important, it has been a very, very long, well, it hasn't been very long. I don't know. It's been a long time since I did a podcast. And it's because in between these like long pauses of me coming up online and giving my 100% unrated feedback about whatever, there's a lot of thinking that I've had to do, right? Like when I'm a content creator, but first and foremost, I'm a content consumer. So I've been, removing some podcast shows from my watch list and I've been adding more on my watch list. So as I navigate YouTube spaces, I'm not very much on TikTok as much as I am YouTube. I mean, that's just, I guess, a culture thing, a digital culture thing. But I do come across some TikToks, panel discussions sometimes, and I come across, mostly political stuff. I mean, which is fine. I mean, every platform has a primary space and use for it, but politics can get ugly. I mean, so can any other conversation, relationships, dating, what marriage, whatever, right? But I mean, I don't really see too many channels that are like hyper focused on religion or hyper focused on kind of any other aspect right now. The hot stuff seems to be, relationships, dating, and marriage and politics. So, um, the reason why I've even like gone on here or decided to take to the airwaves with, or whatever you want to call it, digital waves, these streets, as I call them, digital streets. You don't have to mind that stuff making noises. My table's very kind of wobbly and it's got stuff on it. But anyway, what I wanted to discuss was I have been noticing that when we're dealing with each other in relationships, and it comes to younger people, younger than myself. I mean, for your information, I'll say this, tell them blue, well, not tell them blue in the face, but until my birthday comes up, I'm currently 44 years old. So, you know, I may not look it, I don't care. I mean, well, I do care, you're right. But I am watching online content of TikToks and random TikToks and different women from different walks of life in the United States ask for, well, not even almost ask, they kind of demand stuff from men. So, from what I understand, there's this generation of people, Gen Z, who have taken to the airwaves and they have voiced their grievances against one another, right? I mean, for me, it looks like hate. And here's what I mean. These expectations that men and women have of each other, they've been it's that they've been first um recognized and then kind of thrust upon them like it came out of nowhere. Like women are like, wait a minute, what do you mean I have to cook and clean and do laundry and do all this housework and go to work? No, that's not what people are saying. People are saying you have the choice whether to go to work or not. You can just focus on staying home and do the cooking and cleaning. And even that's still like the I ain't interested in that. So there's like this rejection. I'm noticing that in Gen Z, there's a rejection of the basic gender roles. That's kind of where we reach to from what I'm watching and witnessing and taking notes on. Like uh, it's it's the traditional expectation of men that women have, and it is, I don't know if, I mean, the same is the traditional expectation of men upon women is the same, but they're starting to, just Gen Z thing, they're starting to realize that, wait a minute, yeah, you want the treatment of, grandpa and all of his crew when they were doing their thing, but you know get in the DeLorean and tell the doc to introduce you to 1955 and see how women were treated back then by the men by the men you say you admonish you want these generation of men to behave like. Because in 1955, in the 1950s, men were not as quote unquote hyper aware of politically correct or quote unquote woke, as you people like to call it. I don't know why you call everything woke. It's not. It's just social progressivism. But I mean, you can. I mean, we'll talk about the real world of woke and what it implies. But what we're talking about is social awareness. Like social awareness evolves over time. So once upon a time, it was acceptable for us to use completely separate bathrooms, colored, non-colored, water fountains, schools, you name it, right? Once upon a time, that was the cultural norm. That was, I mean, like what, you lived that way. You woke up, you went out and navigated the world, and you were separated by racial signs. The signs were everywhere, clear as day. We just don't live in that society, but the behavior still remains. So I mean, it's not going to matter. Hang on, I think I have a sound issue. Oh, nope, someone got up here. Give me 1 minute. Syra G, right? Can you hear me? Hello? Oh, she disconnected. Anyway, that kind of sounded interesting. I'm not sure how she. Maybe I have the guest panel up or something on TikTok. I don't know. I don't know very much about TikTok because I don't use it that often. I'll use it to maybe upload one of my videos that my YouTube dance videos, whatever. I'll do that, right? But when I do like a live, there's a layout that you can use for inviting guests up, and they can interact with you, this and that. I haven't fully like caught on to how that does or doesn't work. I'm not a professional at it. I'm more of a YouTuber than anything else. But anyway, someone was just up here on the panel, and I thought I'd maybe talk to them or something, or just at least recognize that they were there. They were able to. I was able to hear the microphone, and they were making noise. But anyway, back to the subject at hand. So like, it's yeah, men and women like in Gen Z are like really rejecting their assigned gender roles, and that's what I was talking about, the 1950s. So in the 1950s, if you want to, we're going back to the future. Well, back anyway. Let's just talk about that. In that period, men were behaving completely different, and trust me, it was undesirable, even for the women of that era. Right? They had two families, family across town. They didn't really tolerate any back talk back then. It was kind of more legal to subject the wife and children to physical violence. Now, whether it was right or wrong is another tale of legality. I mean, because there's like Violence Against Women Act or something like that, and I do believe that uh, I really don't. I do believe in physical violence because it's finite. I don't believe in uh like firearms though. I mean, because firearms, it's just a different topic. If you have one in your house, someone's more likely to use it, and a child's more likely to find it as well. And it's just a tool that couldn't lead to a positive outcome. Like at least when I guess I have that Friday philosophy that Pops had. Like, you win some and you lose some fights, but you live to fight another day, right? Nothing is a fight is something you can come back from, right? A beating is something you can live through. Um, Now, of course, there are exceptions. If a person is just being violent every day, that's unhealthy. That's abusive, and that should be negated, right? But I guess what I'm talking about are just civil conflicts and how we should look at how one is inherently survivable and the other one isn't. When we come to like firearms debate. But anyway, what I'm noticing from the 1950s and now in 2026 is that we removed we've changed socially, and part of that change is always going to be reflected in the next generation, not necessarily our generation. Like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't born in the 50s, I was born in the 80s. So I grew up knowing that hitting women and girls were wrong. But the issue is I don't really think that women were taught the same thing. I don't think they were taught that hitting a man is wrong and can lead to your death or your harm. I'm not sure when it was taught or allowed, but I think even in the judicial system or whatever, a woman's harm is far more finite and smaller than a man's harm. So I think that because it's treated that way in society, it's been allowed, and as a result, I think that women can act as belligerent and as violent as they possibly want to be, and society will still grant them more grace, even in extreme circumstances. Um, I mean, that's just what it's probably going to be until society truly treats both people equal under the law, or all people under the law, the equal treatment under the law. But in the case of Gen Z, um, which my daughter is a part of, uh, like right now, it looks like men and women just like hate each other. Like and you know what the funny part is? It's not really funny. I do comedy for a while, and it's not really not funny, but I say it's funny because of whatever metaphor. The funny part is men and women hate each other for being men and for being women. I mean, it's just well, he's a man, so he's always like burping, farting, scratching, eating, working his job, playing his video games. He's hanging out with his friends. Like, what a complete loser. It's just like, what are you talking about? That is exactly what guys enjoy doing with their time since forever. So, I mean, you'd rather us what? Like what? Give you be a hairdresser for you or paint your nail? Like like no one's going for that. No man's going for that. And no shade to the men who do, but that's just not something that should be expected out of the typical average guy, like really ever. Um, and when we talk about relationships, well, when hang on, I'm talking about y'all Gen Z. So when y'all talk about relationships, you have this like idea, you have this crazy idea. Um, and I hope it's not us millennials who taught it to you, but you have this crazy idea that a relationship is supposed to be the way you think a relationship is supposed to be. And that's not it's like you really think you can determine the dynamics of of what a relationship is and isn't going to be that you're going to participate in. Like these expectations that you have are just I'm just like, what the hell? Who raised you people? Oh yeah, us. It was us. But I mean, like okay. I'll say this. I'm gonna own right now that my generation, millennials, like we fucked up. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to own that and say, like, to our Gen Z, like when we were bringing you up, when we had you, uh, we weren't completely honest. We didn't tell you all the things you needed to know. And here's where we really fucked up. We started giving you devices instead of taking them away. That's where we fucked up. Um, Here's why. Get ready. Because when I was coming up, my devices were, a digital watch. The big deal was calculator watches at the time. That was, our technology. Our Game Boy, my Game Boy handheld gaming device, Nintendo TV, something like that, right? And the biggest punishment you can impose on a person my age growing up was being grounded. I mean, grounded. I mean, I can't go outside and play with my friends. That was the most detrimental punishment you can ever levy on a person like myself when I was coming up as, 9, 10, 11, 12, da da da. Biggest thing you can take away from a child or a teenager is their ability to hang out with their friends. Back when I was coming up, you don't have the uh, consequences that we were imposed with in order to correct our undesirable behavior. You were let off the hook too many times and never suffered enough consequences away from the things that you loved in order to correct your behavior. So you're out of control. You're talking all kinds of wild, crazy shit. Um, I mean, it literally sounds like millennials would have to literally uh like Power Ranger, Voltron, put our like cells together as a DOS boot and put it like up your ass in order to correct your behavior in order to fix this dating issue. So it's like, um, so that's what I'll own. I'll own the failure because we were responsible for we were we were responsible for passing along the information on how men and women are supposed to interact and get along and stuff like that. Like the game was told to by our parents when we were coming up. Like it's called The Talk, and The Talk was about how a parent is telling their child like, "Hey, man, you're gonna be able to sexually reproduce and you're gonna wanna like smash all these chicks and have all kinds of this and that and this and that. So if you have any questions, talk to me about it, blah, 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 blah. This goes there, this goes there." And it was the most uncomfortable thing, lived experience that one can have as a human being, but it's necessary in order to make your son or daughter aware of the dynamics of what's about to happen as you're reaching puberty and as you're coming up through the ranks of being a teenager, because men and women are starting to like date and get serious, and if you don't watch for the potholes or the trip wires, you can fall into this trap, that trap, this trap, that trap. So we didn't give you that advice, right? We never sat you down. Um, Instead, you got on the internet and started looking at, all sorts of like adult content for, like these expectations of what interactions and encounters really are about. Nothing within that content space is how you're really going to interact with any of these women. Like everything that you see when it comes to content is production, meaning like we have to go the extra mile and do these extra things in order to get the clicks and get the likes and get the attention so that we can distribute media and get paid for it. Like your personal life and your personal relationship is never going to be anything close to what adult content can show you. And that's something else that we never sat down and told you. So Um, Another thing is that like at our basic human level as men, on the man side, um our number one goal is sex. And what you have to understand as women is that that's how we're made and that's how we're built. And I'm going to say a majority of heterosexual men, and I say the word heterosexual for a reason, let's not play, but we're wired in order to like acquire like congregation, physical congregation, because that's how we weed out what partner we want to pursue a long-term relationship with. So the woman who can sexually satisfy our needs and vice versa is going to be the weeding processes of how we weed out the best um, long-term partner eventually, that we want to get with, or eventually marry, right, or reproduce with. So there's I'm not sure why or where women miss this. I think the only explanation again is I'm going to like the millennials, us, my age, we didn't tell you. We did not tell you this is how it's supposed to be. So instead, what am I seeing on TikTok? What am I seeing on YouTube? What am I seeing on, all these social media platforms? Oh, we're on dating apps and the dating apps don't work because I can't find the guy I want. Da, da, da. Well, where are all the good guys? And da, 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 and how come no one's approaching? And da, da, da. I'm like, okay, yeah, we fucked up. Gotta own it. Gotta take like millennials have to take, if anything, that L. When we came to showing you and telling you and teaching you the game and how it's supposed to be played, we dropped the ball. We did not tell you what it is, how it works, what's supposed to happen, what you're looking for, why. Like, we didn't tell you all of the reasons and what to look for and how to vet and what vetting is. Um, we didn't tell you that these are traditional values that we've always tried to keep, and this is what we've tried to lose and the reasons why. We didn't tell you a whole bunch of things. We didn't tell you that, hey man, men are gonna like want to sleep with you off rip. I mean, that's the only reason that they will approach. The only reason a man will approach you is because he's trying to have sex, because he's sexually attracted to you. That is the trigger. That is what will drive a man to come up and meet you. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to be wearing scantily clad outfits. I mean, you be like for me, I mean, I'll speak for myself. I don't want to speak on behalf of quote unquote all men, but so what I will explain though is that for me, if your hair is like in a ponytail or something, or in pigtails or whatever it is, but you're comfortable and you're wearing uh like sweats or something, and you're wearing this shirt, and like you're going to, I don't know, some grocery store to pick up something and you're not even that serious about it. Like that's kind of when you're the most gorgeous for me. And I think there's a lot of men who would actually second and third that and agree with me. Like your most relaxed, like torn down look of no makeup, no nothing. Like you're going to the store to get some candy or alcohol, whatever it is. Um, and you're not prepared, you're not on a date, and you're just you authentically, that's what's most appealing to most men. So why won't we approach then? Well, I mean, the non-approach thing is has everything to do with social media. That's the problem. The problem with not approaching is because of social media, and most women of the Gen Z era post everything. Here's the thing. You post more live streams of strange interactions than any other generation before. And it's like bro, the news media, like like number one, 5, channel news, hey, how do you feel about shopping at, Kroger or something? Like they're with the camera and the microphone and the questions. News media outlets are supposed to approach random people out in the street and with the camera and ask questions and like get the real feedback and then report it to the rest of the people with licenses and this and that and the other permissions. I mean, what Gen Z, what y'all are doing is just like you have your phones on a live stream or recording and you're going up to each other randomly and you're like posting these real interactions, and it's just I mean, it I mean, no wonder. I mean, you guys, I mean, like we gave you these phones as a means to communicate and to share your good moments when you're out on the beach or celebrating your birthday or something. But when you keep doing this shady hidden camera thing to like embarrass each other, and it's just not like conducive to a trustworthy relationship. It just isn't. You do this like okay, there was a show called like America's Funniest Videos, Home Videos, and they hide a camera somewhere or someone's got a camera and something wacky happens and thank God I got it on camera. Okay, I can see that. Okay, but like TikTok and YouTube shouldn't turn into the world's biggest America's home video, like funniest home. Like it shouldn't. I mean, there's a space probably sliced out for that, and that'd be cool. But if like how? Like why would I go up to a random like woman and start talking to her, or any man for that case, if he could possibly be recorded only for his public humiliation that he is completely totally unaware of? So, I mean, there's I mean, these are things that you Gen Zers are doing to each other. I do not approach people, nor have I ever, because I've lived in an era without the internet. That's another thing that us millennials kind of like fail to teach you, is that you can live your life without the internet, without being online. I do it every single day. I gotta go to work, so I'll turn my phone on airplane mode because it's really hard to get a signal where I work anyway. So I turn it on airplane mode, so I won't miss any alerts or anything like that, and my phone battery won't die. That's just a smart thing in general, but just freebie, I won't charge you. But yeah, I'm not attached to my phone like younger people are. Don't get me wrong, I am attached to my phone. I mean, I'm streaming right now on it, but do I have to answer every single notification or check what it is? No. Do I have to answer every phone call? No. Do I have to check every text message right when it dings? No. Like I don't have the need to check my phone whenever it goes off. I mean, I just don't. I mean, whatever it is can wait. I mean, it's mostly a notification that someone posted something, right? Or reposted something. And that's not the kind of information I'm looking for anyway, right? Um, I mean, there's nothing, I come from an era where nothing digital should take precedence over living your life. Like nothing. Like maybe a television show back in the day, but then back then we knew how to program a VCR to capture whatever show was on, and then we can continue going outside playing with our friends and kicking it. So, I mean, so this is the problem. Like I said, millennials we didn't tell you the game, so I'll tell you some of it. I'll tell you what I can about it, right? And this is not like I feel like this is like Splinter telling Raphael to come and sit and listen when he really just wants to go to bed, because he's tired from um, fighting Casey Jones and whatever, got humiliated a little bit. But the reality about relationships, meaningful, how to make you're trying to find a meaningful relationship when that's the folly, that is the wrong thing, that is the delusion. You're trying to find a meaningful relationship. From what I'm hearing on YouTube and TikTok, You want someone to be serious, and you want um uh and you want uh a relationship to be meaningful, when in reality it is your responsibility as a participant in said relationship to make it meaningful. That means that two people who really like each other and dig each other aren't measuring each other up to a standard other than, um, showing up. Like basically, hey, I want to take you to a movie. Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, let's go see a movie. And then after said agreement is two people are going to the movie, the rest is negotiation. The negotiation is what movie, where, when. That's it. I mean, in order for two people to at least, agree to said terms of a first date or a movie date, um, the other person, two people just have to be willing to try and spend time together in any type of capacity. And I say movies not because you're sitting in the dark for 2 hours and have nothing to talk about. It's that what happens before the movie, you want to agree on, maybe what you want to eat, what seats, and then post movie, you can just because you're out of the movie, it should give you both something to talk about. I hear Gen Z talking about, well, movie dates are out because you're just sitting in the dark. No, movie dates are awesome because after sitting in the dark, magical things can happen during the movie. Like this is what Gen Z kind of misses out on. The movie date is no small token um of tests that are performed during said movie. There are a lot of things that can be done said movie that tells you what her perception of you is and what your perception of her is. For number one, if you're buying popcorn, right? Like you're both like eating out of the same bowl of popcorn, or are you trying to eat in separate buckets? I mean, I would say share the popcorn because the bigger you buy, the more both of you are going to eat at the same time. Who knows? You'll probably eat it before the previews anyway, but that's not the point. The point is that's unlimited popcorn. But sometimes when you both reach for the same bowl of popcorn, your hands accidentally touch, and something could be made from that. Like, and people my age know what I'm talking about. Like, something could be inferred from you touching hands. Like, her hands are soft. She likes your hands. You're you don't know if you want to like hold hands yet. Maybe you do. Maybe you guys are really feeling each other. Like, hey, you know what? We're on a date. We're together, and now that we're done with this popcorn, let's hold hands. Greasy, buttery hands, or whatever it is. Hey, get some napkins, clean off your hands, and then hold hands. Like that's only if you're really like digging each other and it's something special. Like that can happen during the darkness in the movie. Or you guys kind of like touch each other. I don't want to go too far with it. But like these things are like hidden tells as to it's a psychological game between men and women that we play in order to gauge, hey, so where are we? Like, are you physically wanting me? Are you just wanting to be friends for like such as like maybe a kiss goodnight or something? Or is it okay if we touch hands if it is okay? Because someone will pull their hand away if they're not comfortable, or if they feel they're not there yet. Like there are little tells during a movie, um how comfortable they are with you. So let's say it's a cold theater, and she's getting cold, you can see she's getting cold. Like if you're wearing a jacket or if you're wearing an extra shirt, like you can lend it to her and like use it as a blanket, and then she can kind of like snuggle next to you. That's a huge like sign that you guys are kind of like, if she's physically comfortable laying on you, she's telling you like just like where she wants this like thing to go. Like your arm is around her now. Um, as long as you keep, I feel, if you're not both like, if you both never had the get it on talk and, I like this and I like that. Like if you're not there yet verbally in a conversation, then I would keep that snuggling kind of respectable, meaning like just rub her arm, neck, whatever, right? Comfortable places, but not those places, right? Not even in the middle of a movie theater. I mean, I live a different lifestyle, but we're not talking about us. We're talking about you. So, uh, yeah, there's a lot of things you can get out of a movie theater watching experience. Two seats in the middle of the dark. Um, you both are having a good time. There are some funny parts in the movie. There are some gross parts in the movie. Um, uh, like you know what I'm saying? So it's an experience of two people being together. So after the movie, let's just say now you have both witnessed this movie and you can both have something to talk about until the rest of the night ends, which is the movie. Like, hey, how awesome was this? How sucky was that? You both have now a subject in which you can share and discuss over dinner or over a nightcap or even the car ride, home if that's the plan. So yeah, I don't buy the whole like movie date is overrated and shouldn't be done simply because you're um two people sitting in the dark for 2 hours, 3 hours if it's Chris Nolan movie. But like no, I don't buy that at all. A movie date is the perfect first date. It is a nice first date just to gauge on, where are you? Like, is this a thing? That can be answered during a movie presentation. Like, is this really a thing? Does she feel it? Do you feel it? Are y'all feeling it? Or are you just two friends sharing a bowl of popcorn and maybe some candy and then you're going to bounce and not see each other again? So, I mean, yeah, I mean, you have to consider the dynamics of how people relate to each other in social environments, and the movie theater is one of them. Think about it. You both are sitting right next to each other. None of you is going nowhere, right? You're both seeing the same thing. You're both sharing the same experience. So, um, you can talk about that experience and that you shared after, over a cup of coffee or something like that. If it's still open, if it's depending on what time it is, right? But you know what I mean. So you can discuss over text. You can talk about it over the phone, voice thing if that's your. I don't know how you kids do it these days. I just don't. But yeah, I mean these are the dynamics. Here's another thing. Like for Gen Zers out there, going to the mall is the most socially acceptable melee of an experience that a teenager can have. Here's what I mean. Everyone has their own group of friends, cliques, high schools that they go to. Like most people in the teenage group in that era, or in my era, got on the bus, went to the mall, and the mall is where it's at. All of the teenagers are there, all other adults are there. Um, uh, the clothes, the shopping, the food, the social, right? The social interaction. The arcade. Let's just be real about it. The arcade where it's at. But the point is, getting out into these social areas and like should open you up to talking to other people that you don't know. It is there for you to meet up with people that you do know, but that needs to turn into something else, just like it was with my generation. We started as friends at the mall, hanging out, da da da, and then we would walk around the mall and then just see if we can holler at some chicks. Just like, hey, what's up? What's going on? Da da da. I saw you in this store earlier, and I thought you might have looked good in that dress that you were looking at. So there's a whole lot of, well, I'm an older player, so I know what to say, but there's a lot of opportunity there that we need to start utilizing again. And it starts with kind of disconnecting from being this secret journalist of having your phone on live stream every 5 seconds. You have a interaction with a flesh and blood human being. I mean, that's just not. I understand that this is what you younger people do. I understand that this is what you're used to. I understand that um uh it's cool, you get likes, you have a channel, it's growing. I mean, but at some point, you're gonna have to put that stuff behind you, and you're gonna want something. If you want something that's genuine and authentic, then put your phone down and put it away. And then maybe like men of your generation will start reconsidering their behavior. Like people need to lead by example. So I mean, me being as old as I am, I need to practice what I preach, right? But the problem, well, not the problem. Um, I can talk to people my age and deal with people my age because we all lived through the same era of not needing to record our interaction when we're in our clubs or bars and things like that. So my generation is removed from the dependency or over dependency or hyper broadcasting mentality of I'm here in this actual real life space, and the first thing I can think about is recording, like recording it. Like for what? I mean, for me, I say for what? I mean, I think that's why older people will use like Snapchat or some kind of short clipped um, social media application because yeah, they want to capture the moment with your bestie, with short clips or short um, photos, but you don't have to like have it to where you're meeting somebody and then you're recording them and then they say something wild or you say something wild and be like, see, that's why. And then later, 2 hours later, you're at home posting about, I think that becomes like a nuisance. Yeah, I believe it to be a nuisance. Like, why are you? And men do it too. I'm not speaking to just women. I'm speaking to men too, because men are going out there with these camera phones and saying, "Hey, why don't you like dress properly or respect yourself?" And it's like, okay, yeah, that's her woman. That's her like right to dress however she wants. I may not like it, neither may you. But to bust out a phone and like to try and call her out on it or call a woman out on it, that's kind of for me it's kind of spiteful, and it's like why, for what? She'll do it again next week, she'll do it again tomorrow if it's a Friday and tomorrow's Saturday, she'll do it at another bar or another, so you can't like put that toothpaste back in the tube. I mean, women have evolved and men have evolved right along with them, but do we like who and what we've become, since said evolution? And the evolution isn't just that uh, they're smarter either. I mean, they know far less than we do about interaction. I mean, they're more afraid of each other than ever. I mean, women would rather be with bears in the woods, and men are not approaching women. So, you guys are there's two factors. You're afraid of each other and you hate each other. You hate each other, you're afraid of each other, you talk so much crap about each other online. Um, I mean, you embarrass each other. You guys do these things, like Gen Z, you guys do these things. Nobody else does it. We don't do that shit. When's the last time you saw I'm 44, so when's the last time you saw someone my age, bust out their phone, be like, well, how come you won't date me? And then, like, we don't do that kind of shit. Like, no freaking way, bruh. Not happening. We don't need a phone with the light on, which is pretty bright, and to capture some moment that might become viral. Like, there's not a necessity for us to record each other like that. Like, we grew up in an era without all of this stuff. So it is definitely an age thing and it is a generational thing, you know? But like I said, we have to own the fact that we didn't give you the education that you needed in order to know how to swim in the dating pool rather than um piss and shit in it. You know, uh, I think social media is probably the biggest concern and problem we have because I understand you guys are airing your grievances. Okay, so you guys are talking about. Here's what I hear you guys talking about. Like the terms I've heard are like red flags. I've heard the term red flags. I've heard the term narcissism. I've heard the term arrogant, egotistical. Uh, I mean, I've heard baby mama. I've heard baby daddy. I've heard the term fuckboy. I've heard like there's so many 304s. I've heard so many like negative descriptors about how you refer to each other, as people, Chads, Tyrones, like, 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 okay. I'm trying not to like bug out, but I am. Only because you have so many negative descriptors to describe yourselves when in my generation, it's hey babe, hey chick. Like if you've ever seen Saved by the Bell, like Slater and Jesse, their dynamic was uniquely funny because he's a masculine man and she's a feisty feminist, right? So their dynamic is hilarious because he comes from this era of masculinity, she comes from this era of feminism, and their heads clash on a lot of things. So they would teach you a lot about where we are now, because I believe what the huge fight is for younger people, Gen Z, is on the other hand, feminism, and on the other hand, I'm sorry, one hand feminism, and the other hand manosphere, men's right advocates, things like that. And I'm not saying either. Well, no, I am saying like red pill, manosphere. They're educating men about women, the nature of women, and feminism is, from what I understand, is telling women to reject men and to despise and hold men to this standard uh, of behavior that their grandfathers and great grandfathers once held. From what I understand, so we there is a social disconnect, and it's huge. It's a huge chasm, and I believe social media is one of the greatest like causes of it, because okay, I'll explain why. uh so I've been a part of a lot of panels, right? I've been on I'm not going to name drop too many, but YouTube, I'll put it that way. You go to my YouTube page and you'll find that I've been a part of like a couple of panels, and these panels have discussions, and these discussions have topics. So during a panel discussion, uh, anyone can with a microphone can speak. So sometimes when I run into is people who speak over each other, people who won't let or allow one person to get their complete and final thoughts out. There's usually some interruptions. Some people get more interrupted than others. Um, so you know you can't really express yourself 100% the way you want to. And sometimes these hours span 2 or 3 hours, maybe sometimes four, who knows. But did one person say everything they wanted to say? And that depends on your personality type. If you're one to always be opinionated on something, that you have strong rooted and strong enough beliefs, you're going to call something out when somebody says something ridiculous, and you're going to get your 2 cents in. If not, if you're more reserved, then you're kind of a passive listener, noticing things in the background, maybe taking it all in, and then maybe considering, what you like or don't like about the interaction. But since I'm not on a panel now, I get the ultimate privilege. I'll say that, of just providing an unvarnished opinion on dating in the modern era. Since right now the pool seems to be like filthy and needs some serious chlorine. So back to what I was discussing earlier about what I noticed about Gen Z is the term red flags. And red flags is a term that would have you believe that because you are seeing or experiencing something that your partner is doing that you do not like, that is considered a red flag and a reason or legitimate reason to consider ending the relationship. And I have to say, it is the most snowflake kind of cop out terms that I've ever had to understand. With Gen Z, the reason why your relationships aren't working is because of the language that you use to describe something that is completely natural and something that you are going to have to experience no matter who you start dating. So, with every person that you potentially want to date, there are going to be multiple things about the other person that you simply just won't like. And that is exactly how dating is supposed to be. There is not going to be some perfect person in which you just mesh so well that they'll never make a mistake or do something you don't like or do something that'll cause you to have second thoughts. That's just not going to happen. That is not reality. That is something for an episode on some kind of show, blah, 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 blah. That's not how a marriage works. That's not how a long term relationship works. And that is not how a friendship works either. If you think about the dynamics of a friendship, if you think about your best friend, your best friend, and this is me talking to other millennials out there. Like you guys out there have friends that you've been friends with forever, 30 years, 20 years, 40 years, and you've been through all this kind of shit to where you've had ups and downs in your ebb and flows. Like there were times where you didn't want to talk to this quote unquote best friend. They weren't such a best friend to you because of this or because of that. That may have happened years ago, but you've gotten over it and you're friends again. You know, you weren't enemies until the day you both passed. I mean, we don't operate in that modus operandi. Like friends are kind of friends. Like our the friendships that we built as millennials last a lifetime. They do. Um, we so much to an extent to where I still have friends on Facebook who I went to high school with, and I'm still watching their kids grow, and people are watching my daughter grow, and we're still proud parents, and but we're still the same teenagers that remember what happened at the prom, the bonfire, um, graduation, during that one fight between you and like there's still a lot of memories that we can still share about each other and how we grew up as teenagers. We're still teenagers just trapped in older bodies. I hate to break it to you. But yeah, it's different now on this side of it, looking at our children grow up in this environment to where so much so they're so alienated from each other that they're more comfortable interacting with each other digitally than they are in real life. Like, think about it. You are seeing more content about people interacting in real time just for like literal likes and attention rather than two people legitimately without any devices or people recording each other, living their lives, asking each other out on dates and talking and getting to know one another on a legitimate basis. So, like I said, it's definitely a Gen Z thing. I mean, it's not a millennial thing. We don't go around doing that. There's no need for it. Um, it's just not, and I understand that this is how you grew up. You grew up because we gave you these devices to play with, because we didn't want to really raise you. We had other things to do, clubbing, living life, this and that. So, like I said, we as millennials need to take that L. If these are the younger people that we've raised, that they're alienated from each other because there is no camera out or no phone out. Um, I remember taking my daughter to the movies, and I said, "Give me your phone." And she's like, "Wait a minute, why?" I'm like, "Because I'm not getting kicked out of this movie because you can't stay off your phone for like 2 hours and some odd minutes, and then somebody sees you using your phone and you're not supposed to because you're answering some text or whatever it is. Like, give me your phone, You'll have it back as soon as the movie's done. So the social and personal anxiety that my daughter like displayed, like at that moment, you would have thought I told her to give up her wallet, like her purse and her everything, right? You would have thought I asked her for a kidney or something. I'm like, I'm asking you for your phone for 2 hours during the movie so that you don't get tempted to bust out using it. I want you to see the whole movie, A to Z. I want to share this experience 100% authentically. And then when we're done, credits are rolling. Here's your phone back. The fact that that was a big fucking deal tells me a lot about Gen Z. Like the fact that going without your phone for a few hours is even when it's right next, it's just in my pocket. It's just in my pocket. The fact that, maybe you might need therapy or some type of grievance decompression session because you were apart from your phone, your device for a few hours during a movie, like it tells me like this problem that you guys are experiencing is this dependency on technology. you know Technology is supposed to bring two people who are far away very close. You're in New York, I'm here in Texas. We can Skype and do FaceTime for an interview or for business or for you're an old friend or something like that, but it shouldn't be a replacement or some type of tool used in order to ask women out on dates or um, to uh, to compliment one another, or we should just be texting. Like you need to be on the phone talking to each other. The only way to really get to know a person is by talking to them, and I do mean maybe on a panel. I mean, on a panel is not really interpersonal. I just mean an actual phone call, even if it's a video call or not. But I would prefer a phone call because a phone call means you're not seeing what I'm doing. I'm not seeing what you're doing. We're just two people enjoying each other's company over the phone, getting to know each other, asking each other questions. And that could lead to a potential date. So what I would say is also when it comes to dating and the game of dating, I would like to tell Gen Z and let Gen Z know that the cold approach does not need to be made on the first interaction, not always. I understand opportunity comes once in a lifetime, but sometimes how men operate is that we need to see a woman more than once in order for us to build up the courage to make the cold approach and be like, okay, yeah, let me move to her and talk to her and see what's up. And the choosing signals that women give out nowadays are next to like absolutely nothing. Like looking at us is not going to do it. That's not a signal that you choose us to for us to approach you. That's not it. People looking at each other is not enough of a signal that two people are 100% attracted to each other. That's not. So women have to come up with different ways. I mean, it used to be the whole napkin thing back in the 1930s or whatever, right? But women are going to have to come up with like overt ways of choosing the men that they want to approach. Meaning there needs to be some eye contact, like prolonged eye contact, number one. Um, Number two, the eye contact needs to be numerous. It doesn't need to be just the once. It needs to be understood that you are, in fact, looking at us or looking at a particular man. And if you're looking at that particular man more than once, then he can take that as a gesture that you're singling him out of an entire crowd and that he is the one that you want to approach you. So, number one. Number two, um, you're going to have to be receptive to the person who is approaching you after the woman has made her selection. The woman's gonna have to be accepting his advances, not 100%, advances such as physical, but when it comes to communication, when it comes to him saying hi, like he may have his own way of approaching. He may bump into you a little bit and say, "Oh, excuse me," and then kind of, I don't know, come up with a lame line. It doesn't matter what it is, but he'll figure something out. We always do. When a man understands and knows that he's been selected by a woman in order for him to go and approach, he will naturally think of a way or an excuse to be near said woman and to try and attempt a cold approach. So it's gonna be, I mean, after like a woman, when women choose men for cold approaches, they're gonna have to be very, very overt about it. Multiple looks is one thing, and what women tend to do is use. Women will be usually the ones to use proximity, and proximity is when they make their way towards your space. They want you to get a full look at them, and they want you to recognize that they're close to you in proximity enough for you to talk to them and try and make conversation. So I'm still a clubber. I still go out to bars and clubs, and that's when I notice women, how women move. I used to go to the gym as well. I mean, I'm gotta go back to be honest, but I'm a Monday, Wednesday, Friday dude. So women that use the free weights and dumbbells, uh, have multiple places to put their weight back or to pick up weights. So some women that I notice, if they're attracted to you or me or whatever it is, they'll make their way up to where the weight rack is. And depending on what they're trying to do or show you, it may be their outfit that they're trying to show off, or they may slightly bend over and get the lower weight and try and show you that. Um, I'm not saying that it is done consciously, but I am saying this is done subconsciously. Like this is done on a subconscious level because this is you choosing like who you're doing that nearby or next. Like women consider these things, the one thing a woman considers is who's looking at her. Like the woman is thinking, at least that's from my best guess, it's I'm going to get this size weight or this much pounds of weight, and I'm going to move this way, that way in order to get there. And I'm going to do this in front of this guy because this guy needs to see all of this. For I'm not saying consciously, I said subconsciously. So it's just, I mean, maybe you consciously think this as well, but we see you. Like, yes, we see you. We can't say anything. It'd be nice to say, like, yo, nice glutes there. That'd be lame, okay? We can't say that kind of crap. Um, it would just be lame. So we can't really compliment you the way we want to in a gym because we know it's not the space for hooking up and this and that. But we see you. We see what you're doing, and well, first of all, I think we appreciate it. I know I certainly do. But second of all, we cannot approach there. That's just not something we're comfortable doing. Like it'd be like outside of the gym, holding the door open or something like that, or taking it. We can look at you. We can look at you all day long. We know how to glance and we know how to get a sneak peek, right? Um, if you've done that long enough. But I mean, we know what we're doing. I mean, you know what you're doing. We know what you're doing too. So I wouldn't really be ashamed about that. Now, when it comes to this whole Gen Z hating each other, not relating to each other, like you're gonna have to reconcile the fact that what you both do to attract attention from the other is perfectly natural, and you're going to need to not hate each other for it. Women are going to be scantily dressed. in order to get attention from men, sexual attention from men, which is what they want. We give them the sexual attention in the form of buying drinks or complimenting their outfit or dancing with them, um, if y'all know how. And, you know, things along that nature. So when you're when we see each other more than one time, male and female, two people that are digging each other, a man can make the first move as soon as he sees that there's an opportunity, number one, and that it's completely safe for him to do so, number two. Like we have to take those those risk assessments because nobody likes being humiliated and nobody likes being rejected. So, we'll shoot our shot, but we're gonna, ready, aim, and then fire. You forget the ready and you forget the aim part. And the ready part is the most important piece of it. You have to be ready to shoot your shot. It's not um, it's not such a it's not such a careless thing that men do anymore, especially in these times. I mean, y'all are going through some kind of other thing. Like there was no Me Too, there was no Twitter and hashtag movements, not when I was coming up. So you guys are going through something that we've never had to deal with before. We've never had to deal with public shaming through TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. We've never had to go through, being secretly recorded on video and stuff like that. I mean, maybe for America's Home Videos, like I said, or maybe some kind of instance for some document. I don't know, whatever. But we've never had to grow up. We were allowed to be ourselves, and it was perfectly okay. And that's one of the things that we failed to give to you as Gen Z. Like we failed to give you um, this speech that being yourself is perfectly okay and that you don't need to change for anybody. You need to change who you are in order to succeed in obtaining or maintaining a relationship. You need to show someone who you really are so that you're both your authentic selves. And if you can accept both of yourselves as you are, however imperfect either one of you may be, that is how a relationship becomes stronger and can last and turn into something serious, and then can eventually turn into a marriage or a family situation or whatever situation you'd like it to be. So we failed on that aspect to give you these tools in order to help maintain and grow a healthy relationship. So I know that we failed because when I am watching YouTube, when I am watching these TikTok stitches, when I am, taking a look around, I see too many cameras. I see too many clips of women in front of a camera talking about where are the real men and how come men don't approach and can someone please bring back the real men and can what happened to chivalry and all of these things. So I can speak to, of course, chivalry. Chivalry was never supposed to be for all women. That's not how chivalry went. How it was conceived was that, me and you are courting or in the courting process, and the courting process brought chivalrous behavior for a woman that we were courting. So, uh, holding the door open was holding the door open for the woman you're recording. So is opening up the car door and carrying her bags and things like that. Like that wasn't for a woman that's just walking behind you trying to get her coffee at Starbucks. That's not what chivalry was made for. So we have the wrong idea of what chivalry is and how it applies. It applies to the person that you're dating or you're seeing. It's not applied to some global standard that every man needs to abide by to every strange woman that's out there on the street that you don't know or mess with. So I mean, so your expectations is just kind of out of whack from each other, and women are not supposed to submit to any man, right? Not to every man, not to any man except for the one that they're dating. So she's kind, feminine, courteous, respectful, um, to the man that she's courting or the man that's courting her and the man that she's dating. So that type of submission and agreeableness was reserved only for one man, not, multiple men. So I think these two fundamental things, chivalry is reserved for one person that you're dealing with. Submission is reserved for one person that you're dealing with. Uh, I think where Gen Z misses the mark is that, oh, well, we want women to be submissive. Okay, cool, but they're only to be submissive to the one. And then women are saying, well, we demand that men be chivalrous. Okay, well, you're only supposed to be chivalrous to the one. So I think that's where you kind of you really miss like each other with that. Like that's one thing like us millennials forgot to tell you. Um so you guys are arguing and making these arguments about standards, about what men must be and what women must be, and no, we forgot to tell you that none of that shit matters. um this isn't a game show. You don't get to just win kind of because even if you're finding this men that meets all of your artificial standards, they're gonna fall short somewhere that you weren't even expecting. And that's how a lot of you younger people are getting blindsided. You're looking for all of the wrong things because all of the right things have absolutely nothing to do with social status or money or financial status. Like nothing has nothing to do with that. What it has everything to do with is what you and your other person can share together as far as lived experiences. Because when you and your significant other are together, it's supposed to be the happiest time of both of your lives. That's what a meaningful relationship actually is and should be, no matter what generation you're a part of. But right now, what I'm seeing is just like a bunch of hate on, um, whether it's YouTube or TikTok or panel discussions. And it's really like it's discerning, for the least, it's discerning. It tells me that, you guys are headed in the wrong direction. Like where in this quote unquote gender war, who's winning? What does winning look like in the gender war? Like who wins and who loses? You guys aren't having as much kids. You guys aren't dating as much. You guys aren't getting married as much. I'm not saying that you need to do exactly what I prescribe, but I'm giving you my observation as far as where we were when we were your age versus where you are now. So, I mean, my gripe isn't my gripe isn't necessarily your behavior. It's just my observation of it. My gripe is with us, with the millennials, with the older people who fail to give you the game, the dating game, to give you think about it like it's a game. Dating is a game. Just imagine a board. Just imagine all of the little slices or whatever of the board. Imagine the pieces. Imagine the chance and the community chess cards. That's from Monopoly, but I hope in imagine the dice. I hope you imagine just. I hope you can just understand the metaphor of what I'm trying to say. It's a whole bunch of missing variables that we didn't give you in order for you to better navigate this game and how to be successful at it. That's what I'm getting at. So that's a failure upon us that we're going to have to own. And I see these dating coaches and I'm like, now I am many things. I'm a senior software engineer, 15 years, since 2011. Behind that was some network administration and engineering and design, some wireless security. Behind that was technical support for internet service providers. Behind that was technical support for cell phone companies to fix your phone or reset the software or whatever it was. Like, that's me, right? I know nothing about like toxicity, this kind of like dependency, this newer thing where you're so attached to the technology, you've disconnected socially. Like, you're more, think about this. You're more connected to social media and people online than you are in real life. Like, consider that. I come from a generation where I have more friends in real life than I do on social media. So digest that just a tad. All of my friends I'm still friends with because I met them in person and we spent years around each other talking to each other. And social media has connected me with those legitimate friends that I've made before social media. While in Gen Z, you've made more friends in the digital space and era. In the digital, you have more digital friends than you do living your life hanging around people. So, I'm trying to understand. Um, well, I do understand. You just heard it. But how to put this genie back in a bottle, I don't know. But I think we've dropped the ball. Like I said, I've said that before, but we've dropped the ball in handing you a baton and handing you all the rules of what social interaction is supposed to look like and what's acceptable behavior and what isn't. I mean, think about this. You go to work and you've learned and you're inundated with all of these like anti-sexual harassment um literature. It's like you cannot do anything. You can't say hi, you can't compliment. If you asked on date and told no, don't ask again. So it's just a lot. I mean, it used to be perfectly acceptable to make the approach or set approach at your job. I mean, dating at your job was supposed to be normal. It's really supposed to be normalized. Hey, how'd you two meet? Oh yeah, we both worked at this place. Da, 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 da. But you've I think the generation has toxified the environment and are gonna have to maybe it's up to us. Maybe let me not put so much burden on Gen Z. Maybe it's up to the millennials to run for office and change these laws that say, hey, man, it's not okay to make an approach at the office or make an approach over here or over there. You're going to have to open up the dating pool to say it is okay for a man to approach a woman any and everywhere, and you're gonna have to toss out all these any type of allegation of quote unquote sexual harassment or harassment because a guy asked a girl on a date or for her phone number. Now, the issue is we all need to agree on what sexual harassment and harassment both look like, and that both things have to do with consent, right? um, Sexual harassment's unwanted advances, and then harassment is repeatedly trying to either get a date or change someone's mind or um, or bother or kind of pester the same person post one or two rejections. So yeah, there's a lot that has to be unpacked when it comes to Gen Z. I mean, I wish what I want to do, if I had my way, if I had like let's just say I had stupid money, right? I got like I don't know, Tyler Perry money, and I have my own studio, I have my own camera crew, I have my own production company. I would make a bunch of movies based off of dating and social interactions of what it looked like in the 80s and the 90s. I would make a lot more okay, everybody knows that Stranger Things was like 80s based, and I think that's what makes this series kind of work. It works by giving you an environment that was offline and off the internet and was more socially interpersonal, and how like friendships were made and relationships formed. So a bunch of movies or a slew of movies from my production wheelhouse would be based off of the 80s and 90s and the social dynamics of the 80s and 90s and how people talked, interacted, and um, how okay it was to do certain things like, I don't know, talk a bunch of smack, um, or play outside, or what girls talked about and what guys talked about. And there were a lot of dances and socials when I was coming up too. There were a lot of events that were straight up for boys and girls to commingle, and there's music. So if you think about it, we've always kind of been conditioned to kind of intermingle when it came to social events such as dances, seventh grade dance, eighth grade dance, sixth grade dance, homecoming, prom, these different social events that allow us to, dress formally, semi formally, whatever, conditioned us for kind of the club culture. Because if you think about what the club culture is, sometimes it can be substituted for the prom, for a homecoming, or for a dance. It's the same kind of aspect. It's everyone's invited. You pay cover to get in if that applies, and you're looking to either dance with or meet new people and kind of interact with people of your ilk, things like that. So what I think where we go from here should be a reset. But in order to do that, I think a lot of people my age need to come up on panels and talk to Gen Z about their dating experiences and what their problem seems to be, and maybe just like it's up to us. It's up to the millennials. It's up to the parents. It's up to the old and crusties. Well, not, I say that humorously, of course, but it's up to us to give you something that you're missing. You're missing. You are seriously missing. We make relationships work. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. Two people are supposed to make it work, not look for excuses for it to fail, not look for red flags for you to see and then bail out. That's not what relationships are, and that's not what they're for, and that's not how they are maintained. It is hard work to maintain a relationship because there are things about each other that you're not going to like. And you're going to have to learn how to deal with people you don't like, just like at work. At work, the work is never the hard part, it's the people you deal with. But you have to learn to deal with those people if you want to maintain that working relationship, because you get what you want out of it. I mean, which may be money or a check or whatever, but you get what you want out of it. And they get what they want from you. But it's a maintained relationship that you choose to be in out of necessity. And you need to see these interpersonal relationships as the same thing. It's a necessity. You need the relationship just as much as they do. They want you, you should want them just as much. And there's a lot of things that you're going to have to learn to tolerate in order to make that happen. And not saying you need to tolerate quote unquote abuse or mistreatment. What I'm saying is you need to learn that nobody is going to navigate a relationship perfectly, and you need to be willing to forgive and let go. I mean, there's always going to be that one thing they did, that one thing you did, but you both need to also get over that and let that go and be like, you know what? Why are we hanging on to this one thing? Why are you hanging on to this and I'm hanging on to that? Why are we both hanging on to like old shit that's like irrelevant? Like, why are we scorekeeping? Like, if we're going to have this future and it's going to last, 20, 30, 40 years, like it should, like, we should really learn to put these like piece of luggage down and leave it behind and worry about building a better tomorrow rather than reliving the traumas of yesterday. So, yeah, yeah, that's what I wanted to come up and say. I'm not sure if anyone else had anything to say or if anyone had a comment or something. I mean, I'm on TikTok right now. I mean, it looks kind of weird. There's a whole bunch of invite things uh, on my right hand side. I'm not sure if it's saying I can invite people or if people can invite themselves or if they can come up. I don't know how this thing works 100% yet. Like I said, I'm just still a rookie on here. No one is streaming, I believe, on YouTube, so I don't know how to bring that up. Well, I do know how to bring that one up. I've been on panels on YouTube more than TikTok. But there are some like I don't know. I'm pretty sure there are some Gen Zers watching TikTok right now, watching me right now, like saying, "Hey man, you full of shit," or something like that. I mean, but I do it for everybody, right? Only because this is a conversation that needs to be had, and I think that as someone who's been like me, I've been married, I've been divorced, I have one of you Gen Zers myself. She's 24. She's been navigating dating too, so of course I'm gonna put her business out there, but I got one of you. It's not like I'm completely absent and removed and just some old guy. Well, I am an older guy, but still, I got one of you. I raised one of you. I changed one of you's diapers. All right. Don't act like I'm just completely, some dude in the corner. But let me see what some of these buttons do. I'm not sure. Pull gift, draw games, playbook. Yeah, wallpaper, new background. Nope, nothing there. Okay, so let's see. Popular live, add now. Go live for blah blah blah. Those are statistics on the right hand side. Bunch of invite buttons. What's this chat thing? There's a chat going over my face. You have to forgive me. Like I said, I'm new with this crap. Well, it's not crap. It's just, whatever. But okay, I think here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get off of streaming right now, especially for YouTube, and I'm going to try and figure out TikTok. So I'm Enter the Black Dragon everywhere on social media, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. So I am going to try and see if I can get a panel going together full of Gen Zers and men and women, and see what the real problem is, and see if they've heard me ranting and raving, and see if they disagree or agree, and maybe they got something out of it. I don't know. I'm gonna try. I'm not, like I said, I'm not like a therapist or a professional. There are no certs on my wall, doctor. No, I'm just just older. I've lived in a completely different generation, removed from technology and all that. So I'm just trying to and I'm with y'all. I'm just trying to figure this whole thing out when it comes to modern dating. I mean, you guys blame each other. You guys hate each other. You're throwing all these, So I'm just trying to figure it out. Standards and expectations and red flag, like all of these things. Like I'm just saying, I'm just trying to figure it out. But I'm gonna say so long to YouTube, and I hope you guys enjoy the playback when this pops out. And I am going to probably stay on TikTok and see if I can figure something out.